Day 480. So today was normal work day, last fasting day, day 8. Didn't really weigh in at what I wanted to, but I also didn't really do as much activity as I've been doing on these last 10 fasting days. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. But either way, I did a decent amount of cooking today, went to the grocery store. Kind of just doing prep work for tomorrow and some treats and things like that, right? Either way, I start working on this and I get in my head that, I need to leave. I want to give myself a couple hours because it is my last fasting day, so I want to be able to take breaks and things like that. So I'm going to leave between 6:30 and 7, and sunset is at 8:24, so I'll get through the ride and be done. Well, 7 o'clock rolls around and somehow my brain has changed it from 7 to 7:30. So I'm thinking I'm still good, putting away food, cleaning up, that type of thing. Get my clothes on, hop on my bike, and it's about 7:20 and I realize as I'm rolling out of my house, I've got an hour and 5 minutes before the sun sets. And my trip takes an hour and 30 minutes. So the whole way down, right? So like it's the little incline and then go down. I was like calculating times and things like that and like what I'd be willing to do in the dark and things like that. And I was like, I'm just gonna push, and we'll see what time it is when I get to pretty much the last turnaround before getting all the way to the office, which unfortunately is a decent distance with 3 large climbs or decent climbs and about a 15-minute time period to do it. So I was like, I got to that point, it was 7:50, and I was like, you know what, if this light stays green as I'm going, I'm going to keep going and I'm going to just do it all. And, I've got flashy blinky lights and all that stuff for the dark. So I'll deal with it. So I push through, I turn around, and then I'm like, okay, it's about 8 o'clock. I've got, or it was 7:50 or whatever. I've got, 35 minutes or whatever to get to the top of 360 because I don't want to be on the highway. And so I was like, I'm going to get this done. So no stopping, pushing the whole way, pretty much what I would do if I was eating, right? And I push. Now, it was completely shaded at this point. Actually a little cold. Like there were a little cold blasts every once in a while because we're kind of in that 60s to or 70s to 80s temperatures right now. But and then sometimes up to 90s and 100s, but that's a whole different matter. But either way, so I push, and then I get to the final climb. I've got 15 minutes. I get to the last section of the final climb. I've got 10 minutes. I finish the final climb and I've got 5 minutes left. And then I ride the rest of the way home. Yes, it was partially in the dark, but it's kind of that like twilight time. And so, my lights were on and, I was perfectly fine riding it. It didn't get too dark, which will definitely be future knowledge for when it gets to be 100 degrees outside. But I want to bring up 2 things that this kind of highlights. One is what heat really does, right? Like if you're sitting in the sun baking or riding in the sun baking or whatever, it is a totally different effect than if you're in shade and perfect temperatures to ride in, right? The second thing I want to bring up is mindset, right? So like I rode today with the understanding that I can't stop. I have to keep going. And compared to, the past couple days when I've been hiking and it's been hot, and my goal is just to finish. And so I stop a lot more, and I give myself that leeway because I can, right? And I've already set that mindset. And I mentioned this to my mother at one point, that one thing this fasting has done is given me a new perspective that I didn't even know, a new ability. And because I've talked for so long, I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. So you can stay tuned, and I like it's really interesting what's happened. But like I said, I'll bring it up tomorrow.